Well, that was a quick countdown, but welcome back to Blow Up the Team. My name is Matt, and I'm joined by Jeremy
Hello.
to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays preseason grades. The 2019 Tampa Bay Rays were pretty strong team. They dominated April and May, through most of May, and they actually held a pretty significant lead in the AL East at one point. As expected, though, the Yankees just monster talent. I'm saying that as both a biased Yankee fan, but just straight up, like for obvious reasons, the rate, like not to say the payroll wins, but payroll definitely helps at the point. And the Yankees, star power on that team that they're paying for, definitely help them overcome the Rays. Uh, but the Rays overall were a really solid team. Like not that they did bad or something, they won over 90 games. They went into the wild card, and they were really they're driven by Moneyball via the honest to God, I think they have better Moneyball than the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's had a better season last year, but Oakland A's also got to play the Angels and um, who else last year? The Angels, the Mariners. What are the trash teams out there? The Rangers. So they had a significantly easier division when the Braves had to go against the Yankees and the Red Sox quite frequently. Even though the Red Sox had a bad year, they're still a tough team. So the thing about this team is that it will change frequently where they're hitting, what their lineup's going to look like, who they're going to, put on the bench, who's going to be in the lineup, what their starting situation's going to be. If they're going to have an opener. The team is is easily the most analytics-driven ball club in baseball. They really popularized the opener strategy. Um, starting a relief guy and really messing with uh the idea of what a reliever should be doing. So a couple of big things in the offseason, though. Yoshitomo Tsutsugo uh, is signed from Japan. The general book on him, he's apparently got a pretty insane bat. Um, so like I said, I'm not gonna say exactly what I expect him to do. He hasn't played a single game in the MLB. Basically, he's projected to have some decent power and a pretty decent batting eye, and primarily be the team's DH. And I guess it just leads right into the lineup because the reason why he's projected to lead off right now is because Austin Meadows, who will be a hugely important part of this team, was diagnosed with coronavirus last Thursday. So hopefully he recovers soon. He says he's feeling like he could easily be playing right now, and he feels fine. So hopefully he starts testing negative soon, so he'll be able to get back. So right at the bat, I can't really say too much because projected he looks like a pretty overall decent MLB hitter, quality hitter. He'll slug a decent, he'll slug quite a decent tick. He'll also have a decent enough batting eye, hopefully, to get on base. But I think he projects better in a middle of the order type of guy, not so much a top of the order type guy. I think Austin Meadows has the best batting eye on that team, and is easily the best leadoff hitter for that team. So that'll be a huge role for him. Um, Behind him is Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz, who was finally turning into, a consistent star when not injured. Why is my hold on.
Focus, focus. Come on
No,
now.
no, stop.
Yes.
No, it's not that. My keyboard is fucking up.
Your keyboard is fucking up.
My keyboard is it's like something stuck? No, stop. What the fuck is this? It's just spamming zeros. I just pulled the zero key off and it's still going.
You pulled the zero key off?
Okay, now it stopped. Okay. It just started spamming zeros. Okay, where did my other key go? Oh no.
He lost the key to his keyboard.
No, I actually pulled off an arrow key. I don't know. I never had that happen before.
How do
Just
you
randomly
lose a
started.
key to your keyboard?
I didn't lose it. It's sitting right here. It just did. The zero started again.
I'm sorry, this is hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's hilarious to anyone who's not, thinking their keyboard's fucking possessed. There's one time I I was terrified. I was sitting in I had moved myself into there's a reason why I don't use AFK channels in Discord anymore. I put myself into an AFK channel on this person's Discord. I used to play a lot of games with, and someone else joined it, and then later on at night, I'm just minding my own business, watching some stuff downstairs. I just hear voices coming from my fucking computer. I start freaking the fuck out. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Am I fucking going crazy? Did I leave a video on? Did someone hack my computer and for some reason is trying to talk to me? And then I checked Discord. Or then I freaked out and I didn't even check Discord. I checked everything, couldn't figure out what was going on. I shut the thing down, and then the next day I'm in the Discord and I'm like, yeah, I was like sitting at my computer last night and my just someone people just started talking. Like two people having like a conversation with each other. I couldn't figure out where the fuck it was coming from. And these two had gone into the AFK channel to try and bug their friend into coming back. So anyway, this is a totally unnecessary story.
Yes, entirely.
But whatever. This is why my videos never go fucking short. Um anyway. Yanny Diaz before my keyboard decided that it had a mind of its own and kind of freaked me the fuck out. Um he is consistently like in his action in his time in the MLB has shown he has a decent bat. The problem is he just keeps getting injured. In 2019, that was the exact case. He hit 14 home runs in only 79 games and while his defense is noted for its powerful arm but inaccurate arm, his bat has he just turns around. He absolutely crushes pitching. When he makes contact, he crushes it. And he actually had a home run in the wild card game uh, last year. And the guy has prodigious power. The problem is he can't stay healthy. He struggled with injuries last year. Like I said, he only played in 79 games. Um, which, to be fair, most Rays players will have low as in like they'll when most players are playing 150s, the Rays will probably have in the 140s because they like to move guys around a load. So like I said, they're analytics driven heavily, but they well, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but basically with the 60 game stretch, hopefully he can stay healthy for all 60 of it because his power will be a pretty big part of this. He's very much a three true outcomes type of guy, but overall, solid ball player just needs to be able to stay healthy. G-Man Choi, former Yankee G-Man Choi, hit a total of 2 home runs for the Yankees in 2017. Has finally found a home in Tampa Bay. He played 127 games last year, 19 home runs, 63 RBIs, hitting 261. He's a pretty solid all-around player. The problem for him which I think is the problem with a lot of guys who are solid all-around players at first base, is that he's playing at first base. First base is for the guys with the huge bats who can't field as well. He's pretty decent fielding and he's got a good bat, but he's not like that superstar bat. But that's perfect for the Rays because the Rays don't want a superstar bat. They want someone who they don't have to pay, you know, $10+ million a year. And overall, just a solid bat, relatively good batting eye, some pretty decent pop, and overall, just all around solid, rounded baseball player. Really quick, we go to the bench because I meant to talk about him earlier. Uh, Austin Meadows, because Austin Meadows will be the starting guy on this team. Will play as many games as possible as soon as he gets back from his coronavirus test. This man is the linchpin of this offense. He came over from the Pirates and exploded. Like 33 home runs, 291 average type exploded. The guy has some serious bat skills, and is a star on a team that hasn't had one since uh, Evan Longoria left, and well, not left, got traded, and so Meadows is in his final year arbitration, which could mean, hey, it's time to trade him because we actually have to pay one of our talents. But his last pre-arbitration year, I should say. But ideally, you'll have him for the next 5 years, and he's if he can produce any amount of what he did last year, he will be massive. Um, so hopefully he gets back soon because he does have a really good batting eye. He can hit heavily, very much as the Cubs. They'll lead off Anthony Rizzo a lot. It's because he's got a good batting eye and lots of power, so he can get the game started with. You can have a guy on second or around the bases to start the game pretty easy. Anyway, in your fourth hole spot, you got Hunter Renfroe. Hunter Renfroe was the most interesting trade of the offseason. He came over from the San Diego Padres, in which the uh, Rays traded Tommy Pham. We have to click on Tommy Pham. So Tommy Pham in 2018 and really 2017, had his real breakout year. He hit 306 with 23 home runs for the Cardinals, and he showed the biggest thing for him has always been injuries, and he's got an eye condition, like a degenerative eye condition that really affects his eyesight and his batting eye. But he really exploded onto the scene. Definitely has been snubbed more than once for an All-Star appearance. He got traded to the Rays in 2018. He has made on more than one occasion comments about the fact that the Rays fan base doesn't really show up to games and isn't really that active, which, to be fair, it's kind of true, but it's also because apparently the Rays Stadium's in a horrible place to get to and ship. Regardless, he broke out huge and was traded to the Rays, and he has 2 years of control left. Hunter Renfroe, definitely not the caliber of hitter he is. Does not have the same batting eye. Only hit 216 last season. Now, obviously, that was a down year, but the guy, on a good year, hits 240. The big thing for him is the power. He hits about the same amount of he hits more home runs than Tommy Pham, and he hit them while playing for the Padres. And the biggest thing the Padres have going for them is their pitching, because their ballpark is such a horrible place to hit. And so it's why Framil Reyes is so interesting for for the Statcast era, because a guy can hit that hard and hit that well, like power wise, in a ballpark like Petco Park. It kind of makes me really interested in what he can do. I think overall the trade, it makes sense for both teams, and while a lot of Rays fans were upset by this trade, and understandably so, because the guy produced like an all-star last year. Um, he could have been pretty huge to this offense this season, but some key things here. Renfro is going to make 4 to 5 million less than Tommy Pham is this season, which for the Rays with a uh, budget the lowest in the league by a lot, that means a lot. But especially when you're going to have to start paying Austin Meadows soon, and you have more years of control than you would on Pham, and Pham also, like I said, that eye condition, could it's the reason why he's probably only going to sign a couple year deals at a time after this. He's also 32. So overall, I think and they also traded two very good. They also traded a very good prospect to San Diego in exchange for a pretty good prospect. So I think the trade was overall very even, but a very interesting look at what really goes in behind teams that are trades that the players seem so similar on paper, power wise. I think the trade actually could be in Tampa Bay's favor, but I don't blame the Padres for making the trade. I think the Padres are looking to compete now, and Hunter Renfroe can help them, but defensively and offensively, Pham is the better option overall package wise. But for the Tampa Bay Rays, if they can develop that power, you could be looking at a guy who in a 162 game season in a better hitting ballpark could be a 40 home run threat. And if they manage to change his approach enough that he walks more, or he you know just puts the bat on the ball more. He could be a huge, huge threat, and he's also younger. So anyway, that's your fourth man in the lineup. Behind him, you got Brandon Lowe. Regardless, he had a pretty good season in 2018 2019 before he got injured. He was supposed to go to the All Star game. The AL All Star game second baseman position was so bizarre. The guy who won it was Tommy La Stella, and then Tommy La Stella got in. Actually, no, Tommy La Stella was the reserve, and he got injured. Then Brandon Lowe was going to take his place, and Brandon Lowe got injured, and I don't remember who the third guy was. But regardless, there was three different guys who made the All Star team as second baseman last year as the backup. So that was pretty funny. But you know, he produced really really strong for this ball club. Batting eye definitely very very weak, but good defensively, good all around bat. He has, his approach at the plate is very, focused on line drives, which means his powers aren't going to be to the same point as some other guys are. But his home runs, he will have a decent amount of home runs, and a guy with a decent amount of power at second base is not something you get very often. Um, and so yeah, he's got a solid, very serviceable bat at the MLB level, and I expect a pretty decent season out of him. Behind him, you got Willie Adames at shortstop. Willie Adames is, defensive whiz kid. I don't know why I said whiz kid, but he's a defensive wizard. Very good defensively, and on very very fast. Despite the speed, he doesn't steal a lot of bags, but that's also because he's playing for the Rays, and the Rays don't steal a lot. It's a common theme among the Moneyball teams. You don't steal many bases. Uh,
Is there a
he
specific
doesn't.
reason for that, or the statistics just don't vibe with?
So I don't remember the exact reasoning behind it, but basically a guy on base. The idea behind Moneyball is you want to focus on walks and home runs, and so like that's the focus. And that, like, regardless, the league has been moving towards that because people like the power displays. So the way a lot of these teams organize is, okay, a guy on base when he's on a team with a decent amount of power is already in scoring position on first base. So why risk it going to second when you risk getting thrown out, which in a league with lots of catchers who may not hit well but have ridiculously good arms could be very risky. So I think the logic is a guy on first is just as good as a guy on second in most cases. Now, on a team like Tampa, which has Austin Meadows, G-Man Choi, Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lowe, whatever the fuck you want to call his last name. I already said Austin Meadows, Yoshitomo Tsutsugo, guys who are gonna have decent power behind him. He's already in scoring position, or just even though he's towards the bottom of the lineup, they have a lot of guys who can end up driving him in regardless. So the idea is a walk is that's basically the idea. A walk is a walk, and being on first is just as good as second. Uh, Especially on teams like the Yankees, which have significantly more power than the Rays, but still have to like the Rays. Not to say the Rays don't have good power; they have good power. So that is the thinking, and so though you will see. I say that, but also Tommy Pham did have 20 stolen bases last year, but still, for like, it's not a huge amount of stolen bases for a guy to lead a team in stolen bases. Um. Anyway, going next, we got Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin Kiermaier has been consistently one of the best defensive outfielders and just overall best center fielders defensively in the American League, along with Jackie Bradley Jr. Um, Jackie Bradley Jr. has definitely had the edge the past couple of years with some more game-saving catches, but he also has plenty of game-saving catches, and the guy may not have a very good bat overall. He'll hit in the low 200s. In his best seasons, he'll hit in the 240s to 260s. But for a guy who doesn't hit very well, his defense will always make up for it. Most teams will make sacrifices for a bat, make bat sacrifices for a guy who can play center field like him, which is why even though Jackie Bradley Jr. might not sign long-term contracts, will, for as long as he can run and catch balls the way he does, will always have a team to be on. And Kevin Kiermaier is very much the same way. One interesting thing is I think he is in his last year of his contract, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the offseason with him. Going next, you got Manuel Margot. Manuel Margot is very similar case. He is a very, very fast center fielder who plays a lot of. He's been basically, though he played in 151 games, he spends a lot of time, coming late into games to be a defensive replacement. But his defense is there, his speed is there, the bat is not. Very, very, very much like Kevin Kiermaier. And so what I'm wondering is the logic, and the Rays also traded for him in the Padres. Now what I'm wondering though is if the Rays plan, if Kevin Kiermaier doesn't come back in free agency, which is very possible for a team like Tampa. If the plan is that Margot will be the next Kevin Kiermaier, which he very well could be because his defense is very good in general, and he's got a lot of speed like Kevin Kiermaier. So that's kind of an interesting thing for me to look out for this season. Behind him at catcher, you have Mike Zunino, and you also have a couple backup guys, but I think Mike Zunino is very safe to say going to be your consistent starter. Mike Zunino. Sorry, I had a very, very bad offensive season last year. After coming to the Rays from the Mariners, only hit 165. The guy has never been a star hitter. Don't get me wrong. He only hit 201 in 2018 and 251 the year before that, and has had 2 seasons of hitting below 200. But defensively, he's a very sound catcher. And he's very good at calling games, which is a skill that catchers need. And so I'm not going to call his calling quality like Jeff Mathis's is, but yeah, the bat overall, you just want to see improvement from that because the bat is so bad. Anything like more walks, just more power, just something. If the guy hits 200, like he's not like a Hunter Renfroe who can hit 200 and have 33 home runs. So that is it for the lineup. Going into the rotation, this rotation is seriously threatening. I don't know why Trevor Richards is projected to be in this rotation when you have. Sorry, let me go look at him real fast. Where's the name I'm looking for? Yanni Chirinos projected. Oh wait, I missed this entirely. He has COVID. That's probably why he's not projected to start. But he should be ready very soon after opening day. So Trevor Richards, I'm not even going to count as part of this. No offense to Trevor Richards, but he's only going to be in the rotation for as long as Yanni Chirinos needs to be. It's doing it again. God, what is it? The fuck is this? All right, we're just leaving the 0 key out.
Just gonna remove the key.
Yep, the key is off. It's done.
Oh, rest in peace to the 0
No more
key.
0 key.
Rest in peace.
It's going into the drawer.
Oh, not the drawer, bro. Nothing ever comes back out the drawer.
No, nothing does. This drawer is so full of random shit. I have no idea. I keep finding new room for new things. Anyway, this. So Trevor, actually, I will talk about Trevor Richards because I think Trevor Richards, I think everyone deserves to be talked about in this rotation. But I'm just saying, Trevor Richards will definitely be more of a bullpen arm than a. Oh my God, it's still doing it! What is this? All right, maybe if I take out the other 0 key. Like, I don't understand, man.
Is it just spamming zeros across your board or something?
Yes, it just starts going. It starts giving me like the Windows ping sound.
Okay. And it just spams it across your screen?
Just spam zeros. Is it both of them, or am I just? I'm just gonna restart my computer and see what happens after this. After we're done with this.
Oh, counterpoint. Unplug the keyboard. Plug the keyboard back in.
Yeah, let's try that. Let's try the more logical thing.
Technical difficulties. We are not cutting this because we are being our true, authentic selves.
True authentic selves. Okay. Yeah, you get the uncut version. Alright, we'll see what happens. Okay, alright, listen, it didn't take that long. It's plugged back in, okay? Oh, this is annoying. I spent a lot of money on this keyboard. I don't want to buy another one.
Well, no, you send it back. How old is the keyboard?
But that was December, so 7.5 months.
I should be able to send it back. That's in backable territory.
I don't even know if I have the fucking box to check anymore.
Oh, that's an oof.
I mean, listen, it's probably in here somewhere. My room's a disaster. It's been a disaster since I moved back in. I moved back in, threw my shit everywhere, and haven't touched it since.
Mood.
Like, I didn't have enough boxes for stuff because I wasn't I knew we were heading towards moving out. My logic was, okay, they're not going to do it this weekend. They'll probably announce it at the beginning of I figured if they're going to announce it, they'll give us a week. They told us Friday, be out by Sunday at 9 a.m. at latest. And so I had no time to go out and get boxes and shit. So I just threw shit into trash bags. So there's 3 stacked trash bags of stuff I don't even know what's in there anymore. Of just random shit from my room last year.
On
So
my room up until last weekend was a absolute pigsty because I had like suitcases still in there from when I moved back in. Like I never put my clothes away, stuff like that. And then I woke up and it finally pissed me off. So I spent the day cleaning it. Anyways, back to the topic.
anyway, back to the topic. This rotation is really, really deadly because the Rays have a pretty decent lineup overall, and definitely no, overall very solid lineup. Their starters are and their bullpen is deadly. The pitching is where the Rays set themselves apart. They signed Charlie Morton in the offseason, one of the few guys you don't need to worry about not seeing in a Rays uniform in the next couple of years. He signed a 5-year deal, or he signed no, maybe 3 years. Hold on, I forgot to look this up. I'm going crazy. I hit the 0 key instead of the O key. I'm like actually losing my mind.
You got zeros on your mind, I
I
guess.
really fucking do. Like, hello, is this being controlled by someone else?
Your
Make sure
brain is
is
your
my
brain being
firewall on?
controlled by someone else? Is that what you
I
just
keep
said?
hitting O instead of fucking what I need to hit. My fire. I shut my. Nope, everything's on. So, like, starting to get a little antsy here.
You want me to look it up for you?
Anyway,
Would that be easier?
never mind. I always had it to a 2-year contract. My bad.
5-year deal. Nope, 2-year deal. Rip.
I knew it wasn't a 5-year deal the moment I looked at it. I remembered he's like 35. But he signed a multi-year deal with the Rays, even though it's only 2 years. It's a big deal for the Rays. And he turned in probably his best season to date. With the Astros, he really, turned his whole career around, and started to stay healthier. The big thing for him has been his health. And got a couple of healthy seasons in, and he was mostly healthy this year. He actually didn't miss any starts for the first time in his career. And put up a 3.05 ERA with the 240 strikeouts and 194 innings pitched. The guy has one of probably the most deadly curveball in the MLB of any starting pitcher, easily. And easily this season will not be his last. He's been, he very much got better with age, and he's continuing to be very, very, very solid. Also from New Jersey, grew up a Yankee fan, idolizing Derek Jeter and Roger Clemens. Thank you, Wikipedia page. Anyway, so definitely, I would say definitely the ace of the staff. I mean, the ace of the staff can rotate. I mean, coming out of 2018, you thought for sure Blake Snell would be the ace of the staff. Guys, we had a 1.89 ERA and a top three Cy Young finish. But then he kind of threw in a clunker of a 2019, got injured, also only threw 170 innings in 23 games at a 14.9 ERA. I watched one game where he got pulled like in the first inning versus the Yankees. It was just like he did not look like himself. I guess we talk about Blake Snell now. But Blake Snell, when he's on, has some really, really nasty stuff. Pretty good fastball, some pretty good slider. He's got good, pitching mechanics and stuff. But you got to see if he can turn it back around because he is young and he's only been in the league. He's only his fifth season. So you're going to see a lot about if it was just a blip or if this really was the beginning of, or if this year was the blip or if 2018 was the blip. Um, you have Yarbrough, who had honestly a breakout season last year. He only had uh, he had a 4.13 ERA, but as a starter, he was excellent at times, and he had a really good second half of the season. He had a pretty rough first half, really good second half. He actually got mad at Kevin Cash. Honestly, I understand being analytical in games, but when you're 26 outs of a not a no hitter of a shutout, and you give up your first base hit in like a couple of innings, and you pull them when you have the lead, it's just kind of stupid when you're one out away. But the guy has some pretty solid stuff, and I think the Rays still have plenty of time to figure out what they got there because it was only his second season last year. But he looked really, really solid and could be a really interesting part of this rotation. Tyler Glasnow was undoubtedly the biggest breakout star last year of this rotation. He did get injured and missed significant time, so only made 12 starts. But that ridiculously good fastball and breaking ball, netted him 76 strikeouts in 60 innings to a 1.78 ERA and a 6-1 stat line. So hopefully in a shorter season he will be able to stay healthy and continue to build off his 2019, which is a pretty huge accomplishment for him. Trevor Richards came over from the Marlins during last season when the Rays needed a guy to fill in for Glasnow. Trevor Richards by no means is a bad pitcher. I realized earlier it could have sounded like I'm trying to say that. He's a very his numbers, 10 wins and 21 losses. Wins and losses don't mean anything. Sound a little scary, but he also played for the Marlins. He put in some pretty decent outings with the Rays. Pitched to a 4.06 ERA. Not great, but not horrible. So you're looking for improvement from him. He's a young pitcher with a lot of time to develop, and so you got a lot of years on a guy for someone and a lot of potential on the guy who's starting as your fifth rotation piece. When we go to the bullpen, I'm also going to talk about Yanni Chirinos because when he comes back, his stuff is deadly. He did make the start that I saw in Tampa Bay. He got a little roughed up, but the man has a very, very hard sinker. Um, he gets a lot of ground balls, a lot of weak ground balls. He and on a day when he's on, he is absolutely dominant. The big thing for him isn't so much that he gives up a lot, like decent amount over a couple innings. He gives up like big innings because like his WHIP is only a 1.05, which tells you he didn't have that many base runners on average, and so the big inning is the problem for him. So if he can learn to not have that big inning, he could be one of the most dominant starters, in the league. So moving into the bullpen entirely though now, your closer spot is going to be closer by committee for the most part. However, I will say I think my favorite isn't Nick Anderson. I think my favorite is Diego Castillo. Though apparently Nick Anderson is projected to get the bulk of saves regardless, but yeah, and it's easy to understand why. In 65 innings pitched, he had 110 strikeouts and only 18 walks. So the guy has some ridiculously nasty stuff. So he's going to be a very solid option. Diego Castillo also has some ridiculously nasty stuff and had a pretty huge season last year. 81 strikeouts and 68 innings. Um, and I guess I can understand how Nick Anderson stuff plays out better than Diego Castillo's in a closer role. But when he's definitely not a bad guy to have to call up. Jose Alvarado, he got injured last year, which is why his stats look the way they do. Um, but he is only 1 year removed from a 2018, which had him with a 2.39 ERA in 64 innings with 80 strikeouts. So Alvarado, Castillo, and Anderson are all ridiculously strong bullpen arms to have. Behind him, you have an interesting mix up of different guys. You lost Emilio Pagan. You traded him to the Padres, which I think, regardless of if you're planning on having Manuel Margot replace Kevin Kiermaier, I just think it was a mistake. He was one of the most dominant relievers last year, and you traded him away. Um, but I can also understand you have a plethora of arms, and so I guess it doesn't really matter. You have guys like Chaz Rowe. He, will come into 71 games and only pitch 51 innings. He's very much a. It's doing it again.
This is such an L for you.
Why does my keyboard randomly spam 0?
Are we googling that now?
Yes,
Is that what this has come to?
keys can stick. I cleaned this thing like not even a week ago.
Hmm. Do you have a little disconnect putting it back together there, buddy?
Listen, I did this like 2 weeks ago, so like it had plenty of time to show itself.
Oh, it
Keyboard
didn't feel like showing itself.
troubleshooter. Okay, here. Next. No changes or updates were necessary. Close the troubleshooter.
That's an L for you, my guy. It's an L. Not gonna lie to you.
Keyboard isn't plugged in. You got some sort of malware installed on your PC.
Any chance that this can be done after we finish?
Yes, but hold on. Mm, I'm just gonna restart my computer after this and see what happens.
I was really about to Google the Jeopardy music. I'm not gonna lie.
Anyway, um, yeah, Chaz Rowe, who is a guy who will come out and throw sliders after sliders after sliders, and will it's doing it again.
Can
We'll
I
just
help you
throw.
Google stuff so you don't have to see it?
Is it my clicking that's causing it? I wonder if it's my incest. No, it doesn't. Not doing it again. So Chaz Rowe will come in and he'll throw nothing but sliders, and he's not gonna have the praise area, but he'll get you out of. He's a guy who's a specialist. Will get you out of jams for the most part, and you got guys like Oliver Drake who has one of the funkiest deliveries in the MLB, who will throw nothing but splitters. We actually had a breakout year last year for you guys, and we'll get lots of weak contact, and we'll actually strike out a fair number of guys because this stuff is pretty nasty. You got Colin Poche, who in his rookie season showed glimpses of having something really special. Because 51 innings, 72 strikeouts, and a guy who doesn't have on the fastball radar, he doesn't have anything too crazy incredible. But clearly something's working there. Um, you got a lot of guys who you can piece in here in small doses to develop some pretty interesting weapons out of. So overall, I think the bullpen is a huge, huge strength of this team. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Let's go into our players. Oh, it's doing it.
Can, oh.
Stop! Just stop! Why? Like, what? Okay, tap. Nope, nope.
Like,
Nope,
what are you
no.
doing?
I'm just trying to see. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm looking for.
I don't
It's
know either.
annoying, man. It's just annoying.
I mean, mood, but also like trying to finish this, no?
Yes, I am, but it's just annoyed, okay? Alright, Austin Meadows. Man is a monster with a bat. He's going to be a huge part of this offense and will be kind of the linchpin. Not kind of lynch, he is the linchpin. He's going to be the driving force behind a lot of what you guys do. He will set up other guys in his team, and he will drive in other guys in his team. He has good power, just good all-around skills, and you may have just scratched the surface on the guy who could be this team's next Evan Longoria. Going next, Charlie Morton. The late career resurgence continues. The guy has really solid stuff, and can be a leader in this clubhouse as a veteran presence. Going next, Hunter Renfro. It'll be really interesting to see how he develops on a in a better hitting ballpark and with a team that has a different maybe can help him hitting wise. Um, the guy has some ridiculous pop, so maybe in a better ballpark, he will hit more home runs or he will develop that batting a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see if he can, replace Tommy Pham. Going next, Diego Castillo. The guy had some pretty monster showings last year, with what people have dubbed the super sinker. He, makes fastballs move in ways they should not be allowed to. His
For
stuff is
those of us that are
nasty.
less informed, why is it called the Super Sinker?
I remember I sent you that picture of him in the postseason where he threw a sinking fastball that started in the middle of the zone and ended up at like Jose Altuve's ankles.
Would it make you feel better if I said yes or no?
Yeah, you were a little distracted, so basically it moves a shitload. It just shouldn't move the way it does, and it just he just makes hitters flail at it, and so he's going to be a pretty huge part of this bullpen, and yeah, throwing him in there because he's my favorite reliever, and I think he should be your favorite reliever too.
He should be my favorite reliever too.
Oh, your favorite Rays reliever.
Valid. Anyways,
Anyways, indeed.
waiting patiently for you to decide if you're done
Um,
talking about him or not, because I did interrupt you.
I am done.
Okay. Yeah, you still fighting with the keyboard?
I think you want me to, so you know I can cover the fact you don't have the grading thing ready.
Hey, listen, man, we haven't done back-to-back videos in a long time. Give me a break, all right?
Nope.
No. Listen, man, we spent at least 5 minutes this video watching you, not watching even, listening to you fight with your keyboard. I think I can be cut a little bit of slack that I forgot to put the picture on this template, okay? Just a little bit. I don't think I'm asking for much. Just a little bit. Hello? Are you there? Are you presently?
Yeah, sorry, I just saw some very concerning things.
What
I
did
really
you
hope.
see?
Um, your log looks clean. I've seen this once before, and it was a cracked motherboard near the PS2 connector for the keyboard. You want to take a very close look at your board around the connector, make sure there's nothing in the connector itself.
Hate to see it.
Listen, if this thing got cracked from sitting in one place for the entire summer with me not touching it, I would be really impressed.
Not even mad, just straight up impressed.
Oh, no, I'd be furious. But, like, I would be also very impressed. And you know what? It hasn't done it since. I'm just gonna move both of these USBs. I know it's USB is not a PS2. I don't give a shit. And that's another thing that doesn't make sense to me is, you get a PS2 connector since I don't have plugging my keyboard directly into my motherboard. Actually, yes, I am because I connected to USB, but it didn't say USB connector. So, you know what? Shut up. Line up. I'm gonna give it a B plus. Lots of power. Overall, pretty decent. Some of the areas are kind of rough. You need to walk more as a team that's trying to play this way. And some of your guys at the bottom rotation, like Mike Zunino and Andrew Kiermaier, just ain't it with the bat. Your bullpen is easily an A plus for me. It is one of the best bullpens in the league, and it deserves to be so. You have weapons. You guys, you can come in and do. We'll be more specialist type pitchers, but you have guys for different situations. You have lots of flexibility. You have 3 different guys who are candidates to be your closer. So yeah, your rotation also gets an A minus. Actually, no, it gets an A. Just gets an A. It's a very good rotation. You have Charlie Morton, Blake Snell, Yanni Chirinos. You have Tyler Glass now. Those are 4 ridiculously threatening guys in the rotation, and that rotation is one of the top rotations in the league. So your pitching is absolutely nasty. Your lineup is very good. I don't think they're good enough to beat the Yankees in the league, but I do think that they have a very, very strong contending easily the first wild card spot for me, and obviously could end up winning the division. So that is my stuff.
You had a rough go of it tonight.
Yes, I did. I'm kind of pissed. I'm just hoping it just stops. I'm hitting 0 a whole bunch of my keyboard to see if it happens.
I mean, I'm just kind of, I feel sorry for Rays fans, man. They came in here, they were looking for some, solid preseason
Listen, if
grading.
Rays fans actually first exist, I'm impressed.
Damn. Why
Kidding.
call their whole fan base like that, bro? Damn.
It's mean. It's mean. Listen, if Rays fans watch this video, I'll be impressed because my other videos do so well. If Rays fans, if anyone watching this video doesn't just skip past it, I'll be even more amazed. Or just shut off the video at that point and say, unprofessional, lame, who clearly never looked at anything we've ever done before.
Also a valid point. Not like we strive for studio level quality around here. Anyways, let's wrap this up. It's been 48 minutes.
Yes, this is enough. This is enough. Done. Okay. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out our social media. We're not very active on there. We're very active on Discord. Go ahead and check out our Discord. Please check out our Discord. Thank you. Goodbye.